In today's video, I am going to go over one of my favorite parts of the birth chart, which is the North and South nodes. And this is going to give you key information about who you were in several different past lives, as well as what your destiny is in this lifetime. So I'm going to go over each of the placements that you might have in your birth chart to better explain this information to you so you can understand really what you are destined to accomplish and work through in this lifetime. My name's Emma, and on my channel I talk all about astrology as well as spirituality. I help people to better understand themselves and gain a deeper awareness about who they really are and what their purpose is here in order for them to grow and evolve in this lifetime. So if you're interested in astrology, spirituality, or even personal development, hit the subscribe button and also like this video to show YouTube that you like this content so YouTube pushes it out for other people to see as well. So if you don't know how to find your North and South node in your birth chart, I am going to leave a link in the description box below so you can figure out where your South and North node are in your chart. Your North node is going to look like a symbol that looks like an N shape, like a horseshoe. And your South node is going to be the same symbol but upside down, so like a U symbol. So your South node represents where you're coming from, so your past lives and who you were in the past. And your North node represents what your destiny is in this lifetime and what you really should be striving towards and working towards. And it's going to be important to not completely lose your South node. That's not the point here. The point is to develop a healthy balance between the two. So not leaning more towards your South node or going so far towards your North node that you completely disregard all of the lessons from your South node. It's about that healthy balance between the two. And your South node, since it's where you're coming from, this oftentimes is where you subconsciously fall back to. So it's those patterns that you're used to, you feel comfortable with, and are really part of who you are on a soul level. So it is really going to probably feel like more work to try to learn the lessons of your North node, but it's going to be important to do this in this lifetime because it's going to help your soul to really grow and evolve. I'm going to leave the timestamps below of each of the placements that you might have. So I want you to look at not only the signs, but the houses. So look at both because they're both going to give you a good idea and a good picture about these two energies and what you should really be working towards. And the houses are actually I would say more important because they're going to give you a deeper understanding and it's going to be more specific to you and it's going to provide more of that, the full picture of everything. So make sure that you not only look at the signs of your North and South node, but also the house as well. Okay, so when we're talking about the Aries Libra axis or the 1st and 7th house axis, this is really going to be about finding a healthy balance between giving to others and having a focus on building relationships while also remembering to be independent and focus on building a sense of self. So this is going to be a very important lesson for you in this lifetime. So let's say you have your South node in Aries or in the 1st house. So you are going to feel naturally very comfortable with being independent, being self-sufficient, focusing on the self. And you could have had many lifetimes where you were really focused on building independence and being self-sufficient, focusing on you, focusing on your goals, and working on things as an individual. Since Aries is also the sign that is ruled by Mars, this is a very warrior type of energy here. So you could have had several past lives where you had to really fight for what you wanted. You had to be direct, be aggressive. You could have quite literally had past lives where you fought a lot physically and you had a more of a aggressive type of personality, more blunt, more direct, and you really felt like you had to fight in some way to be who you are and get what you want out of life. Being that strong, independent individual is something that you probably feel very comfortable with, and something that you could naturally fall back to, where you feel like you have to do everything on your own for yourself. And this could, if you focus too much on this South Node energy, it could prevent you from maintaining healthy relationships in this lifetime, or prevent you from giving to others in some way that is going to be beneficial for your overall growth. So in this lifetime for you, working towards building healthy relationships and focusing on others, giving to others more, and focusing on really building those healthy relationships within your family, within your friendships, within your romantic relationships, and learning how to navigate relationships better, where you're able to operate in a more fair and balanced way, where you're more willing to listen to others' opinions and perspectives on things, and work more on relationships, and have a more giving type of mentality, where you are working with other people and not just so reliant on just yourself. Now, if you have your South Node in the sign of Libra or in the 7th house, then for you, it's going to be the opposite. You could have had several lifetimes where you were so focused on giving to other people, and you were so focused on building relationships, having others in your life, having all of this support system from others, and really focusing on your close relationships and building those up, that it could have been at the expense of giving to yourself. So you could have been focused so much on giving to other people that you did not develop your own independence, and you didn't develop your own identity outside of other people. And in this lifetime, you really need to be working towards your North Node in Aries or the 1st house, where you're working on being more independent, being more self-sufficient, feeling like you don't need other people to fulfill you, that you are really working on your confidence and being more direct with people and going after what you want, being more assertive about things, really building up those qualities where you go after what you want, and you are very steadfast in how you approach things, and you're very motivated to get things done and get things started and initiate things more within your life. So that's going to be an important lesson for you. So whether you have your South Node in the 1st house or Aries, or your South Node in the 7th house or Libra, for both of these types of placements, the lesson here is finding the balance between both of them. Finding a healthy balance between building relationships in a healthy way and giving yourself to others, but not at the expense of yourself. Also being independent, self-sufficient, and going after what you want, while also being able to be a support system to others and give to others as well. When we're talking about the Taurus Scorpio axis, or the 2nd 8th house axis, this is really going to be about finding a healthy balance between the more physical, material aspects of life and the more emotional aspects of life, that those emotional depths of the human psyche, and putting them together in a balanced, healthy way. So if you have your South Node in the sign of Taurus or in the 2nd house, then this means that you had several lifetimes where you were really focused on the physical aspects of life. So you were really grounded in the earth, and really probably were very all about emotional security, stability, very reliable type of personality, and really you could have indulged a lot in the physical aspects of life. So indulging in good food and shopping, material possessions, and money, and really your physical surroundings and environment. So for you, quite possibly in several past lives, all of those physical aspects of life were taken care of for you. It wasn't something that you had to worry about, and you could have overindulged in that stuff to the point where it wasn't balanced for you. So in this lifetime, it's going to be important for you to develop the qualities of Scorpio or the 8th house. So since that is your north node, really moving towards your north node and learning those lessons so you can achieve the healthy balance between the both. So with a Scorpio north node or north node in the 8th house, this means focusing more on the aspects of life that you cannot see. So focusing more on achieving that emotional depth within your relationships and submerging yourself in the parts of life that maybe are a bit darker emotionally, dealing with trauma more, not burying your emotions and really processing them and not being afraid of them, dealing with those energies and exploring things about life that are not part of the physical world, really researching things more to uncover the truth of life, maybe involving yourself in esoteric subjects, things that are dealing with what cannot be seen. This could be someone who is really working in a field of psychology, therapy, a healer of some sort, working with those more deep emotional issues. So you can have a healthy balance between the physical material world while also having those and working with more of those emotional and darker, deeper parts of life, so you can have the balance of both. Now, if you have your south node in the sign of Scorpio or in the 8th house and your north node in the sign of Taurus or in the 2nd house, then this means that you had several past lives where you overly were obsessed with uncovering the truth and digging deeper in your emotional life and the darker parts of life. And you could feel very comfortable with talking about subjects like death where other people are not. That could be something that doesn't scare you and doesn't make you uncomfortable, because you spent many past lives really focusing on those darker areas of life that a lot of people are not comfortable with, to the point of obsession though, maybe, where you really were focused on those more trauma-based areas within yourself or just within your life, where you research things to the point of obsession to try to uncover the truth of things that have been below the surface, and maybe acting more obsessive and controlling in your personal relationships. So for you in this lifetime, it's going to be important for you to move more towards your north node in Taurus or the 2nd house. So having more grounding energy in your life, having more emotional stability, and not submerging yourself in certain areas of your life to the point of obsession when it comes to your emotional life especially, and really developing just more of that stability within yourself, within your life, within your relationships with others, and really finding the importance in really enjoying the physical world and the physical aspects of life, because really grounding yourself to the earth is going to be something that is going to be an important lesson for you. And having that balance of both, having the balance of the emotional depth and those interests, while also being emotionally grounded and secure and feeling more stable and having that energy as well. When we're talking about the Gemini Sagittarius axis or the third ninth house axis, this is really going to be all about your approach to learning and acquiring knowledge. So if you have your south node in the sign of Gemini or in the third house and your north node in Sagittarius or the ninth house, then this means that you have spent several lifetimes really having a deep curiosity about different areas of life, but possibly more in a left-brained analytical type of way. So really researching things on your own and needing to communicate these ideas with others, but most likely others within your close social circle or community, maybe through your career or your friends and family, and really approaching things in knowledge in a more rational way. And also you're going to have a more openness to learn from others and to really exchange ideas with others. So be open to not only sharing what you've learned with others, but to learn from other people as well, and having that non-attachment quality to learning. Now, you could have more of a grounded approach. So maybe you spent a lot of time learning about science or technology, or you're a writer and that was really your area of focus. But in this lifetime, it's going to be important for you to move more towards your north node in Sagittarius or the ninth house, which is more about abstract learning. So learning about philosophy, spirituality, religion, and those types of subjects that are less grounded in nature and more about learning about life in a more expansive way. So really going out, being more of an adventurous type of person and free spirit, where you're traveling to far distant places to learn firsthand through your experiences, submerging yourself in different cultures, different types of people with different beliefs and ways of thinking about life that are more abstract and focusing less on common sense and more on learning those more non-tangible types of beliefs and aspects of life. Now, if you have your south node in the sign of Sagittarius or in the ninth house and your north node in Gemini or the third house, then you spent several lifetimes really focusing on abstract areas of life and learning. So philosophy, spirituality, religion, belief systems and structures within society. You were most likely a very free spirit, very independent thinker, and needed to really adventure out in life to uncover the truth and understand different areas of life. So for you, you might feel a bit more attached to your beliefs. You might feel less open to learning from others, and you are going to feel like you want to teach others more, because Sagittarius is really holds the qualities of great wisdom and this higher educator, teacher type of personality. So you could be more comfortable being in that role. But with your north node in Gemini or in the third house, it's going to be important for you to practice non-attachment with your beliefs and be more open to learning from others. Be more open to exchanging ideas in a way where you're not always teaching others, but you're learning from others as well. And really focusing on more common sense types of areas, or more left brain types of areas, and learning in a more tangible way, in a way where you can really stay within your community and do research that way instead of having to always go out and learn firsthand. Focusing on more about your community, because Gemini is about short distance travel and not long distance travel like you're used to. So focusing on that, and but I think it's mainly really about the non-attachment to your belief system, and having a more open attitude and being more changeable with your approach to life and learning. You do want to achieve a healthy balance between the two. You don't want to move completely away from your South Node. So with either of these placements, the lesson here is about achieving a healthy balance between wanting to teach while also being open to learning from others. It's about having common sense while also really having abstract ideas about things and being open to both. It's about short distance travel and far distance travel. It's about learning more right brain things versus left brain things, and acquiring knowledge in both ways. With the Cancer Capricorn axis, or the 4th 10th house axis, this is really about creating a healthy balance between building a home and family and having that emotional, nurturing type of energy, while also focusing on the self, the career, your success in life and achievements in the public eye. So if you have your South Node in the sign of Cancer or in the 4th house, then you've had several lifetimes where really nurturing others and building up that emotional security and that emotional nurturing energy within your life, within your home, your family, your personal relationships was something that you spent a lot of time developing and was something that was very important to you. So that is something that you will most likely fall back on in this lifetime and feel very comfortable engaging in that sort of energy, because that's where you're coming from. That's what you're used to. But for you, it's going to be important in this lifetime to move more towards your North Node in either Capricorn or the 10th house. So Capricorn in the 10th house is really all about building your own identity in terms of career, in terms of your success in life outside of the home and the family, your own identity in the public. So achieving something for yourself that is going to make you more successful. This is going to be a big emphasis on focus on your career and what is going to make you feel like you are successful in life and achieving something outside of just your emotional relationships. So creating that healthy balance between nurturing others and building a family and those types of emotional relationships, while also focusing on building something bigger for yourself. So if you have it flipped around, if you have your South Node in either Capricorn or the 10th house and your North Node in Cancer or the 4th house, then you have had a lot of past lives where the career was a main focus for you. Your public image, your success in life, your achievements were something that was very, very important to you and something that you really focused on. So in this lifetime, it's going to be very important for you to focus on building a family, building a healthy home life, focusing more on your emotional relationships, focusing more on that nurturing energy, and building your relationships more surrounded by opening up more emotionally and tapping into that nurturing energy. And creating a family and building a healthy home life is probably something that you'll find to be important to you. Or you could also, though, since it is very common to fall back onto the South Node, you could be very obsessed with your career. So for you, since you've already learned the lessons of achievements and success from your past lives. For you, really, it's going to be more important to focus more on those emotional relationships and family types of relationships. But of course, with any placement with the South and North node, you don't want to move completely away from your South node. So you really want to tie these energies together. It's going to be important to have those close emotional relationships and have those nurturing types of qualities within your family, within your home life, within yourself, while also not ignoring your personal career and your achievements and your successes in life, because they both go together. I really think about the Cancer Capricorn axis as like the stereotypical wife and husband, really that emotional nurturing energy of the wife typically has, and then that career success achievement that the husband usually has. But it's important for both people to really hold both qualities, whether you're male or female, to really have that healthy home and family life. So you're not giving yourself completely to your family and ignoring your own successes, and you're not completely giving yourself to your career and ignoring your family. So they both tie together. With the Leo Aquarius South and North node axis, or the 5th, 11th house axis, this is really going to be about finding a balance of giving to the collective and thinking about giving to society as a whole, humanitarian types of energies, while also building up your own confidence and really giving to yourself and really thinking about what you're passionate about and what you want to build up for your own identity and how you want to shine as an individual. So if you have your South node in the sign of Aquarius or in the 11th house, then you've spent many past lives really focusing on group efforts, the collective. You could have been a humanitarian of some sort, where you really were not thinking about yourself, and you were thinking about giving to society as a whole in some way, and really building up your relationships with others and thinking of the collective, and wanting to really make changes, healthy changes within society. But this could have been to your own expense, where you were so focused on society, giving to others, group efforts, and friendships, that you neglected your own interests, your own identity, and you could have neglected really building up your own passions, really focusing on what you as an individual love in a creative way, what you're passionate about, building up your own sense of self and confidence. So for you, moving more towards your North node in Leo or the 5th house is going to be very important for you in this lifetime. So finding areas that make you an individual, in areas where you can find a creative outlet to express yourself, self-expression, finding things that you're passionate about, really focusing on how to build yourself up, build your confidence up, and focusing on really yourself. And that might sound like a negative, because people think of, oh, if I focus too much on myself, then that's not a good thing. But for you, it really is, because you spent so many lifetimes focusing all of your energy on other people, which is a beautiful thing, but it's not a good thing if you neglect yourself. You always have to take care of yourself and figure out what makes you an individual, what you're passionate about, and what your creative outlets are as your own person. So, if you have the opposite of this, if you have your South node in Leo or the 5th house and your North node in Aquarius or the 11th house, then you spent a lot of time in your past lives focusing on you. You spent a lot of times really focusing on what your passions are, what your life path is as an individual, really shining on your own, and really focusing on yourself. So for you in this lifetime, it's really going to be important for you to focus on group efforts, your friendships, really ways that you can help the collective, group efforts in ways that are going to really benefit everyone. Focusing on equality and how you can give to society as a whole, and really focusing on ways that you can help others in some sort of aspect. But it's important for either of these placements not to completely move away from your south node. These are both important lessons. So you need to keep the healthy balance between the two. So you cannot give yourself completely to others without maintaining that sense of self and your own identity. Just like you can't focus only on yourself and not focus on giving to the community. So both of these energies will be important. So it's really about establishing a healthy balance between the two. With the Pisces Virgo axis, or the 6th 12th house axis with your south and north node, then this is really going to be about finding a healthy balance between the spiritual, non-physical type of world, the fantasy world, and finding a balance between that and more structure and routine in your life. More of that analytical type of thinking than, and while also maintaining that more non-physical spiritual side and those interests as well. So grounding yourself more while also keeping an open mind to the non-tangible aspects of life. So if you have your south node in the sign of Pisces or the 12th house and your north node in the sign of Virgo or the 6th house, then you have spent many lifetimes really being very involved in spirituality, esoteric subjects. Really, you could have isolated yourself a lot because Pisces in the 12th house is really about escapism, isolation. Maybe you had addiction problems. Really it is about the non-physical type of world. So having an interest in what cannot be seen with the human eye and all of that type of energy. So for you in this lifetime, it is going to be very important for you to learn the lessons of your north node in Virgo or the 6th house. So having more structure in your life, implementing a healthy routine to keep you more grounded and structured, so you don't just fall into the patterns of your south node where you engage in this escapism, fantasy type of behavior, and you neglect your physical life. You neglect your daily routine and things that you really need to achieve in the physical world, because you already mastered the spiritual world. All of that type of energy you have had a lot of exposure to. So it's really about setting those healthy boundaries, routines, structure in your life. And you're always going to have this interest in spirituality and this healing type of energy and passion. And the 6th house is about service to others and healing as well, just like the 12th house is. It's just in a different way. It's in a more structured way. So really implementing a healthy routine, a healthy schedule, and thinking about life in not only an abstract spiritual type of way, but an analytical way as well is going to be important for you. Now, if you have your south node in the sign of Virgo or the 6th house and your north node in the sign of Pisces or the 12th house, then it's going to be the opposite for you. You spent many past lives really having rigid structure and routine and thinking about things in a very analytical way, and maybe thinking about things in a very rational, mathematical type of way where you need to see the proof of things and you need to have clear-cut answers in order for things to make sense to you. So for you in this lifetime, it's going to be important for you to expose yourself to more spiritual and more esoteric subjects that are not as analytical, and more open your mind more to the non-physical areas of life, and to loosen yourself up a bit and not be so rigid in your routine and structure, and be more open-minded to things that cannot be seen by the human eye, and engaging more in spirituality and learning about more of those areas of life are going to be important for you. And it's going to really balance yourself out more. So like any of these placements, it's important not to move completely away from your south node. You need a healthy balance between the two. So really maintaining that healthy balance between spirituality, the unconscious, the non-physical world, while still having a healthy structure, routine, and grounding energy within the physical world is important for these placements. Okay, so those are all of the different placements that you could have with your north or south node and the houses. So comment down below what your north and south node is and what house your north and south node is. And comment if you learned anything new and how this relates to you in your life and the experiences that you've had in your life. I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.